sit cross-legged or back on your heels. Once you find your seat nice and tall through the spine, take a moment to turn your gaze low. Close your eyes. First and foremost, welcome yourself to the mat. I think of this practice as devotion to self. So as you turn in, breathe fully for you. Breathe out, let go of what you don't need to hold on to in this practice this hour. Take a quick mental scan, a body scan. How are you feeling? What needs more attention today? Those few moments to take in the scan, to set an intention for how the movement will feed you, goes to our main mantra, kind, beautiful, and capable of big things. Nod the chin down to the chest. Start to rock the head from side to side here. Right ear to right shoulder, left ear to left shoulder. Just kind of a half moon shape back and forth. Keep the right ear over towards the right shoulder. Walk the left fingertips out. And if you'd like to add just a little bit more, it's hand on top of that opposite ear. All of these familiar openings, allowing us to really check in. Hands go back to thighs, chin to chest, left ear over towards the left shoulder, and then walk the right fingertips out. Pause with that work or add the opposite hand on top of the ear. Little tug out to the side. Okay, we bring it back down, chin to chest. Both hands behind the head and that push of the head up into the hands. Allowing for the stretch from the top of the head down towards the tailbone. Strengthening component, belly in, navel towards the spine. Good toning from the pelvic floor up. And then release the hands, lift the head, open our eyes. Okay, come on over to all fours. Continue as we mostly do here with cat and cow to start. Just move the spine back and forth. Each inhale, trail chest forward, eyes and tailbone lifted. Each exhale, press down through hands and knees around the back and drop the head. Back and forth. Keep going with your cat and cow. And then stretch out into downward facing dog. Our inverted V shape, always claw the earth underneath the finger pads. Make the arms as straight as we can. A notion of squeezing the upper inner arms towards each other. Squeeze the tips of the shoulder blades in. Feel free to pedal out the feet, create a little bit more movement here, shake out the head. Remembering downward facing dog, we use it mostly as a pose to find the length through the spine. And that stretch through the hamstrings is really secondary, meaning you can have a bend in the knees to allow for a little more ease in getting into the stretch of the spine and not worrying so much about the hamstrings. All right, set the knees all the way down to the mat. Take child's pose. Knees stay apart, big toes together. And walk the hands over towards the right side. Nice reach out here from left fingertips and pull back on your left seat. Walk the hands across your center. Do that to your second side. Reach out to the right fingertips. Pull back on the right seat. And then bring it back to your center. Come up to all fours and just swing the right leg forward. And then situate the hands on either side and come up to your low lunge. Nice way to get into this full stride of knee over ankle. Make sure the hips aren't falling down and forward. Make the back leg straight and really press out into the heel. We know these things, just taking an extra moment there. And then today, walk your hands up to the front thigh and lift the torso straight up and down. So from the building blocks of the legs through the torso and then reach your arms up to the sky. High crescent lunge here. Squeeze in the left glute. Sometimes I actually touch it and it reminds itself to get stronger. And then hinge forward, lower the hands back down, left knee down. And I want you to lift up one more time, arms overhead. Rather than sending the hips down and forward, actually keep them up and back. Left hip over the back knee. Set the right hand down to the inside of the right foot and look up towards the sky. A little different of a twist. So I'm using my upper arm bone to press into the thigh to help stabilize here. We don't do that one too much. Okay, left hand goes down. One more thing, pop up the back knee again. And can you go down to the hands and give me those little push-ups that we do sometimes. Bend the elbow and straighten. Bend the elbow and straighten. Bend and stay low. Take your right hand like a horseshoe behind your right heel and cinch your shoulder even a little bit lower under the thigh. And it's that beginnings of a backpack leg. Stay strong here and lifted. And then lower the left knee down again. Unwrap yourself. Come all the way around to all fours. Left foot forward. Hands on either side of the foot. Slow stack here from the ground up. So now we lift the back knee. We've got our good long, low lunge. And then add on the upper body, hands to the thigh. Lift the torso more vertical, trying to keep the back leg straight. And lift the arms up, palms in. So the palms turn to face each other here. Just a big full stretch. Hinge forward, so you kind of stick your seat out as you reach forward. And then lower the hands, lower the back knee. Okay, one way to do this would be to lift up and back first. and then lift the arms high. Sometimes I kick my right toes a little bit over to the left to make balance easier here. You're coming to that sort of weird open twist. Left hand goes to the inside of the left foot and try to lift the right arm up to the sky. And then lower the right hand down. Again, bring the right knee off of the ground and go down to flat palms. So you're in a low lunge, flat palms to the inside of the foot. And those little push-ups. Bend the elbows and straighten. 3 times. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten, and then bend and try to stay low and hook the left thumb and first finger like a horseshoe behind the left heel. Keep lowering the left shoulder down towards the mat so it scudges, very technical terms, underneath the left leg. And it's that backpack strap that I talk about from time to time. You're holding. Back leg still lifted and strong for you. And then work your way out. Lower the back knee. Come around to all fours. And we do downward facing dog. Bend your knees a lot and walk your hands back, back, back to your feet. And then hands to the hips, point the elbows up to the sky, push down into your feet and come all the way up to standing. Take a walk to the front end of your yoga mat to get us into our rhythm, a little bit of a lifted heart rate. Let's go to our sun salutations. Lift the arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Lower flat to your belly. Peel the chest up for cobra. Change to downward facing dog. That change can always be through straight legs, all fours. Sometimes I take child's pose for a breath before moving into dog pose. Use the transitions that work best for you in this moment. Look forward to your hands now. Step, jump, walk your way to the front of the mat. Half lift, forward fold. Stand, reach the arms to the sky. Palms together, center of the chest. Do this 2 more times. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Lower flat to your mat. Peel the chest up a little or a lot in cobra. Change to downward facing dog. Take several breaths in dog pose. And next inhale, look in between your hands. I get a step or a jump to the front. Inhale, half lift. Forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms overhead. Palms together, center of the chest. One more time here. Inhale, lift the arms way high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, lengthen from hips out to the head. Nicely done. Step back to plank, lower down to the mat. Lift the chest up for cobra. And go to downward facing dog, hips all the way up and back. Breathe in, breathe out. Look towards the front of the mat. Step or jump to the front. Half lift. Forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms overhead. And bring palms together, center of the chest. One round of Surya Namaskar B. Bend the knees, sit into your thighs. Utkatasana is chair pose. And then exhale, fold over your legs. Half lift. Step or even jump back to plank. Lower it down to your mat. Cobra or go for up dog here. Straight arms and legs with the hips up. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot in between your hands. Spin the back heel down. 2 flat feet rise up. Warrior 1. Palms to the sky. Square the shoulders. Pull right hip back in space. Left hip forward. Press down and out through both feet. You're here. Stay here. And then exhale, lower the hands. Step back to plank, lower down, cobra or up dog, downward dog. Second side, step left foot forward, right heel down. Come up and again, hold warrior 1 here for a few breaths. Try to pull left hip point back, the right anterior hip point a little bit forward. Lower the hands back down, step through to plank, lower, cobra or up dog, and down dog. Let a few breaths out through the mouth really cleanse, leaving you powerful, strong, ready for this practice. Next breath, look to the hands, step or jump forward, half lift, forward fold, Utkatasana, bend the knees, sit into the thighs, stand all the way up, palms together, center of the chest. Pause here, close the eyes if that feels okay for you. Okay, as you open the eyes back up, take your feet just hip distance apart. Arms straight out in front of you, but then wider, like a V shape. And I'm going to try to hit different angles with our knees. I want you to lift your right knee up, right into the center, like center of your arms. And then can you cross it over the body a little bit? More towards the left side, and then back into your center, over to that second hand. Good, push down through your standing leg a lot, and bring it back into the middle. Lower the leg all the way down. Same thing, second side. Of course, one of these hands could be all the way holding onto a wall so that you have a little bit more support, or not. Here we go. Left knee up. Go across the line of the body first. And then back to the center. Open to the outside. And back to the center. Lower it down. We're going to do it one more time each side, a little quicker. Lift the right leg, cross it over, cross it out to the middle and down. Pick up the second leg. Cross midline, out, back to center, and down. Give it all a little bit of a shake. From the top of the mat, hands at your hips. Keep your right foot forward and step your left foot back until you're in a nice high lunge here. Okay, all I want you to do is bring your belly and torso down to your right thigh and then lift back up. Bring it down to your right thigh, a little bit more out to the side, and then can you get your right shoulder all the way down to your right thigh? And then come back up, using the back leg lifted and strong the whole time. One more time, bring the belly down Shift more to the center. And now can the arms go under like airplane wings out towards either side. No more airplane wings. You've got to come all the way upright. And step to the front of the mat. So 3 different positions there. We start with the first one. You might be repeating the first one rather than moving along. These are always progressive stages, so you get to pick. Start left foot forward, right foot back, hips square, torso upright, tailbone down, head up. Okay. Belly, chest down onto the left thigh. And then come back up. This time you're trying to go right to the inside and a little bit lower. Still square off the hips. Tone in the abdomen. Bring yourself back up. And then third stage, you go again, belly to thigh, scooch to the inside, and then try those airplane wings going down and out. Still square off the hips. No wings. Onto the thigh, and then lift the torso straight up and down. Step it all the way in to the top. Lift the arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Step it all the way back to downward facing dog. Okay, something different. Lift the right leg up into the air, 3-legged dog. Bend your knee and open the hips, so try to point the right knee more up towards the sky. Sometimes I call that fire hydrant look through 3-legged dog. Can we bring the knee back into the chest and hover forward in plank pose? Remember what we just did standing. Take your right knee towards the left elbow, towards the right elbow, back into the midline, and leg back for plank pose. All the fun things. Go to downward facing dog. Lift the left leg up. Bend the knee. Open the hip, point the knee more up to the sky. Try to keep the shoulders square even as the hips open. And then we go knee into the chest, hover forward. This can be done with the bottom knee down rather than lifted. Always that option. Here we go. Left knee towards the right elbow, cross the midline. And then open it out to the side. And then back into the middle. And shoot the leg back for plank. We should be ready for knees down. Child's pose. Push back. Add a twist to child's pose, meaning take the right arm under the left. Set the right shoulder, ear, side of the face down. A lot of times this pose is done with the feet high in the air. That's fine as well. Okay, we untwist. Try it on the second side, left arm under. I'm keeping hips again down and back, more like Bakhasana, more like the crane pose today. And then unthread the arm. Come up to all fours. Enjoy a little cat and cow, a few rounds here. Okay, we're changing this up. You're going to lie all the way down onto your back. Little respite. Lay all the way down. As you lie down onto your back, curl your knees into your chest. Shoot your left leg out, but keep it a few inches off of the ground. Imagine the widest you can scissor your legs apart. Stretch your right leg straight, hold behind your calf, and keep that wide scissor. Left foot maybe 6 inches off the mat. And then you're going to switch. Hold the left calf, lower the right leg. Okay, go back to the first side, and the whole time that bottom leg is just hovering. And we're doing the same crossover here. So you don't have to use the hands, just try to cross the right leg over the midline of the body. And then more out towards the side. And then back into the center. Scissor left leg up, right leg down. Okay, cross the left leg over the center line of the body, more towards the right, and then to the outside, more towards the left. Notice how much work and where you're working there. And then back to the middle, and curl both knees into the chest. Stretch arms and legs straight up to the sky. I always call this one dead bug. Flex your feet. Okay, I want your elbows and your knees to touch. Bend your elbows, bend your knees, make them touch. Keep the elbows and knees touching, but lift your head and shoulders off of the yoga mat. And can you slide your elbows more towards your shins, which might mean sliding your knees more up towards your shoulders. Make the arms straight rather than bent. Go back to full dead bug, straight arms and legs, lower the head. We're doing that one more time. Let's start though with head and shoulders up. Keep the arms straight the whole time, bend the knees. Touch the elbows, touch the upper arm bones, touch, touch, touch higher. Can they go into the armpits? Inner edges of the feet together. You're doing Bakasana, you're doing crane pose, you're on your back. Keep your left leg exactly like it is, but stretch your right leg straight and out to the side. You're in one-legged crane pose. Pull it back in, stretch your left leg out to the side. Notice how the inner thigh goes more around the upper arm bone, and pull it back in. Oh my goodness, dead bug. Knees to chest, give yourself a hug. And take the hands out to a T shape. You might want to watch that one on the replay again. It's good stuff. The legs over towards the right side in a supine twist here. Really nice way to train sort of our body and brain together is to take the shape, flip it upside down like we just did, which doesn't take all of the weight and balance that are necessary to figure it out on our hands. Second side, knees over to the left side if you haven't already. Take it back into the middle. Rock yourself up to a seat and then stand all the way back up. Okay. Back up to our standing poses. Take a wide stance, face the long edge of your mat, point your toes straight ahead, your heels straight back. Good. Extend your arms out. I'm not going to try to mirror us, so let's all turn our right toes out. Look over the right hand. Triangle pose. Hinge towards the right. Push your hips to the left. Lower the right hand down to your leg. You could use a yoga block here or the floor. Top arm up to the sky. Look up. Press down and out through your feet. Imagine extending your head past your right toes here. And then stand all the way back up. Flip your feet. Right toes turn straight ahead. Turn the left toes out. Gaze out over the left fingertips. So we want hips and shoulders to be open here and to stay open. So we hinge. Right hip point has to stay pulled up towards the sky. Lower the left hand down to your leg. Again, block or floor. Top arm to the sky. I say this a lot, but I always like to use my legs because I have every height of a yoga block that I would possibly need. And it's good feedback too. Come all the way upright. Flip your feet one more time. So left toes straight ahead or even a little tiny bit turned in. Turn the right toes out. Rebend the right knee. Warrior two, usually a tiny bit of a longer stance than triangle pose because now you get to come into the bend of the front knee. As always, broadening the knee out over the middle of the foot so we're not giving too much intensity to the inside or outside of the knee and the ligaments around the knee. Side angle pose, right elbow down to the knee. Reach the top arm, palm down overhead. And then cross the hands over the chest, both hands over the chest. Can you move your right shoulder to your inner thigh? This is a lot like what we did from that standing lunge earlier, and then bring your torso back upright. Do it one more time. Try to keep the shoulders open, chest open to the side, but dip your right shoulder down. And now differently, you're gonna lift your back heel, rotate hips and shoulders to like down towards the floor. That's a big balance ask. Thread the arms through so that you have a low lunge with the right arm hooked under the right thigh. Hands and front foot all kind of in line with one another. Keeping all of your weight on the right foot, can you step forward and lift the left leg up into the air and then back down? If you need to look and watch and then try it with me, it's like a hooked standing split. Try it twice. And then I want to get out of that, back to warrior two. Straighten the right leg. Turn your toes. Super fun. Second side. Bend the left knee. It's warrior two. The side knows where it's going. Yeah. Be kind to yourself. Know that you're capable of these big things. Left elbow to the knee. Top arm, palm down overhead. So we are working progressively. I keep saying that to remind us all of these stages that come before, each and every one of them, helps to aid the next. Hands crossed. And think left shoulder towards the left thigh, but trying to keep belly, chest open to the side, and then come back upright. Okay, we're doing it one more time. And this time, changing that balance. Pick up the back heel, rotate it in, look down. Okay, so one stage could be hands stay to the inside, and you're still trying to do that leap towards the left leg. If you're with me, we're trying to put our left shoulder tucked right to the inner thigh of the left leg, hands either side of the left foot. Okay, can we leap and give all of the weight to, oof, that side doesn't work. There it goes. Give yourself the opportunity to try a couple of times. Keep that hook of the front leg. And then gradually work it back out to warrior two. Straighten the left leg, turn the feet parallel to one another. Wide-legged forward fold. Take in a couple of breaths. Okay, and look towards the front of your mat. Walk into a low lunge, step it back to downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet. Try crane pose here. Just kind of give it a go. Walk your feet in a little bit. Remember, like dead bug on your back, you start with straighter arms and legs and then bend the elbows, bend the knees. Set the knees somewhere above the line of the elbows. As you send more weight forward, head a little down, pick up the feet. Stay for a breath or two if possible. And then start to play. Tap one foot, tap the other foot. Tap one foot, tap the other foot. Both feet down. Dead bug, arms and legs. Slowly roll up to standing. If you grabbed your yoga block, you're going to try the exact same work, but with your feet on a yoga block. You could also be standing feet on a rolled blanket. If this is newer to you and you're thinking I need a crash pad, sometimes I put a blanket in front, which would be more comforting if I fell forward. Stand on your block. I've got it on the lowest level for most security. Lift the arms up to the sky. Definitely bend the knees so that the hands can touch the ground. Now you're going to come more into a squat to get this started. Knees on the outside of the arms. Flat hands. It's like your shriveled up dead bug tries to come back to life. It lifts up a little bit and then lean forward. And this is where, for me, that play of foot to foot becomes a little bit easier because you've got just a little bit of the height of the block. You play just one leg at a time and then both legs at the same time. Two feet down. Safely come all the way back upright. Lift the arms to the sky. And release. Give it a little bit of a shake. Okay, step off of your block. We'll do one more little trick with the block to show us that sometimes just a tiny bit of height is helpful to where we're trying to go. So if you take a wide-legged stance and you're doing warrior two, this time I want your right leg, front leg, to stand on the block, and then you're just working your way back. So like warrior two, but your right leg is up on the block. And it's a lot of the same work that we just did. So take your arms over the chest and put your right shoulder down, but then lower because your thigh is higher. Hopefully that's easier to make that connection. Okay, and then turn and look down. Place the hands on either side of the block and the foot. Lift your back heel so you're in that backpack leg. Now, because the block is higher, it's actually harder to get the foot off of the ground now, but I'm going to ask you to try, and try is the name of the game here. Lift your heel off of the block, keeping everything else that you have, and try to then lift your entire right foot off of the block, stretching the right leg out in front. And then you just kind of make your way back up. Doesn't need to be, these are like drills kind of things. Yeah, it doesn't feel very flowy. And a lot of times getting that foot up is super hard, but it's activating low abdominal muscles and trying to keep the hook around the shoulder. So we're trying to do this on the second side. Left foot is on the yoga block. Warrior two, yeah. The left foot on your yoga block. So these are all like tips and tricks how you can start to work in if that's like, oh, I just really want to get this one particular pose. All of these things are going to help gain a little more access. You lay left shoulder down to the inner thigh. Okay, so this part should be more doable at first. Thigh is higher up, foot is higher up, so you can kind of thread through for that backpack leg. Lift the right heel, change the hips. Okay, so all of that, like a little bit more doable, but then it gets more difficult because of the block. Try lifting your left heel up off of the block. Imagine what would you have to do to get your entire left foot off of the block. And then start to activate from low belly, pulling strong all the way through the front of the abdomen. And trying to stretch the leg out. And go back to downward facing dog. Safely come back upright to standing. Set the block out to the side. I could easily work this pose into like a 2-hour workshop, and what that entails is like, do that drill again, do that drill again. Yeah, so you could always take and redo this a little bit more. For now, forget about the block, out to the side, come stand at the top of the mat. Lift the arms up to the sky. Enjoy the big full reach. Heel toe your feet out until your toes are hanging off of your yoga mat with your heels on. Take it into Malasana, yogi squat. Bend the knees, sit low. And we do want to keep our feet flat on the mat here, which means your seat might be a little higher or dropped all the way down depending on your range of motion and health. Stay right here. And then take your hands behind you, catch and sit. Stretch your legs out. Okay, eyes on me for just a moment here. I'm going to show you where this whole thing goes. And again, then we'll break it down a little bit. Things that we know and do plenty are seated pigeon pose, all the different ways to hold here. That seated pigeon pose, keep trying to find the angles that are going to work best to show this, goes into the backpack leg that we've been working on over and over in different elements today. So then you are here in that backpack leg, left leg straight ahead. Watch me here. This is the thing that gets it tricky. We're going to fold the bottom leg in, keep the pretzel of the backpack leg, come up and through that lunge that we've been working on. This time your right foot is flat on the ground. You're going to keep it there for a moment and hop the left knee in. And we're going to do a couple of little push-ups. Or you can think dead bug pose and straighten. And I'm going to ask you to stay low. Butt low like Malasana to pick up both feet. This time That front leg doesn't have to clear a block, so it might have a little bit more ease. And you stretch it straighter. And then we'll find our way out of the pose, which can be all the way back into that backpack. Okay, your turn to join me. Start with your cradled seated pigeon pose. Take any of the cradles, hand to foot and knee, forearms or eye of the elbow around the knee and foot. What we're looking for here is to try to get your right knee and right shoulder in line with one another to begin with. Straight up and in line, so like not out to the side. We're trying to pull it all in. Nice stretch to the outer hip. And then it's the adductors that as you pull then differently, right knee back, you try to wear that back pep. Adductor muscles trying to squeeze in to hold you now. Once you are in the backpack, can you cross your left leg in like you're trying to do crisscross applesauce? And you kind of roll over yourself to come into a lunge. And then you are still wearing that right leg. Okay, how do we get into our dead bug shape? Tap, 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 left foot closer in. Think straightish, legs and arms, and then bend and sit lower. Straightish, bend and sit lower. Straighten and bend and stay. Try to have the left knee on your upper left arm bone. Right leg still hooked over the right shoulder. Turn my frame again for you guys a little bit. And then you're trying to scoop the right foot off of the floor. The lower your seat is, the easier it's going to be to scoop that right leg up. You can do one side at a time. Try to extend the right leg, but left foot maybe is on the ground, or maybe both at the same time. Lower the left knee back down to the mat. Work your way back into backpack leg. And it's all out. One more side. Let's see what happens. Okay. Give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Go for the seated pigeon pose first. Any of the three options. Again, trying to keep long line, outer hip to outer knee, right over the line of the shoulder. If the knee goes way out to the side, try a different way of holding the foot, even if it's like lower down. Okay, and then we wear the leg. Squeeze in. Set the hands, think tall through the spine. Right heel tucks in. Roll over it. Set the hands. Walk the right leg out until you're in your lunge. The reason I was trying to do that flying half split before was to get the intention of weight into hands and front foot, and that's how you hop the back leg in, and then it can get your weight again. Those dead bug push-ups, straighten and bend a couple of times. And then can you keep with the bend? Okay, so first match is right knee to the upper right arm. Both feet, both hands on the ground. As I sit the butt low like I would in Malasana, it's going to allow me to get one or both feet off of the ground, keeping the hook of the left leg over the shoulder. Extend the left leg. And then we kind of splat back down and stretch the legs out. If you're not spent, do it again. But I am, so we're gonna move on. Lift the arms up, reach high. Exhale, forward fold. Hold on to your feet if they're available. Hold on to the ground as feels best. Just a seated forward fold here, Paschimottanasana. Inhale, lift the torso back upright. Take the soles of the feet together for your Baddha Konasana. Bound angle. Nice and tall or fold over. Push the feet in, extend the knees out. I'll give you some time for breath and peace here. As you make your way back upright, knees into the chest, and then roll down onto your back. Take the hands out to your T shape. Once more, set both knees over to the right in a supine twist. Up and over to the left, supine twist. And back into the middle, set the sole of the feet down. If you still have that block handy, use it for a supported bridge pose. If you don't have the block handy, good old regular bridge pose for you. Soles of the feet to the ground, shoulders head, lift the hips up. If you have your block, slide it under to the higher point of your seat, like the high point of back pockets in your pants. And that's what you're putting your weight on. If you're working supported bridge pose, you can stay here. If you're working unsupported bridge pose, or just bridge pose without the block, I should say, come on down, give yourself a breath or two, and then go back up for a second round of bridge pose. Lots of turning in, folding in through crane, one-legged crane, so just a little time to feel the openness across the front side of the body here. Okay, and then we can all make our way back down. If there's any last bits of movement that you'd like, please add it in here. Just a little unwinding. If you need to try something one more time, go for it. And then as body and mind are ready, find your still position for Shavasana. So you could lie down on your back, your side, your belly, a seat. It does not matter. Try to just find stillness, release. To fold in the work of the practice. Slowly rejoin breath and body with a little bit of movement. Fingers, toes. Take your time to come all the way back to a seated position if you're lying back. And fold the palms together in front of your chest, in front of your heart space. With the kindness in your heart, give gratitude to the beautiful big things that we practiced on the mat so that we can turn to beautiful big things off of the mat today. And we'll close in the sound of Om. Please sing along, listen, or tune it out to send us away. Exhale. Take a deep breath in. Again, bowing in to you, each other, this practice. Namaste. Okay, thanks friends.